What is up, everyone? Welcome to the FAA podcast. Good to have Jimmy back, finally.
Been a minute.
Where's your bike stuff, man?
One moment.
Anyways, while Jimmy gets that, we are doing the Vikings and the Panthers mock draft tonight. Super hyped for this one. Of course, both of our teams pretty close. I mean, the Panthers made the playoffs last year, sort of a surprise, winning the downtrodden NFC South, but they got in and they gave the Rams a hell of a game. Vikings had a tough season last year, but looking to rebound with the Kyler Murray, JJ McCarthy duo this season. There we go.
Yeah, you got that Randy Moss, 2010 jersey when he was here for 3 games. Gotta whip it out.
Nice. All right. Let's get rolling. I got my rankings or my needs up here on my phone. Fernando Mendoza, of course, number 1. David Bailey to Jets at 2. Got Carnell Tate to the Cards at 3. Titans going Arvell Reese. Giants go Sonny Styles. Francis Mauigoa for the Browns. Commanders, Ruben Bain. Saints go Jordan Tyson and the Mansour Delane to the Chiefs. I mean, let me hold on. Jimmy, I know the Vikings don't need it, but technically, Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason's contracts are up this year. I'm just saying we're at pick 11. Jeremiah Love's on the board still. Caleb Downs also on the board, Jimmy.
I would trade up for Downs or Love, but I don't think Love makes it past 5. I really think the Giants are enthralled by him. I don't know.
So
I would make the trade up, but I don't want to make the trade up because I realistically don't see this happening.
Yeah, I agree. But we got to work with what we got to work with. It's sort of similar to the mock I did on Monday, actually, with the Ravens and the Dolphins. I don't know if you caught that one. I didn't post the picks yet, but the Ravens, we sat right where we were with Baltimore at 14. Jeremiah Love fell into 14 somehow. I don't know what happened, but this one and the last one I did, the only two that I've seen that he has dropped. This is, I believe, the only one that I've seen both of them fall out of the top 10. Safety, though, for Caleb Downs, I have safety as the third need for both the Panthers and the Vikings. I would not hate coming up for either team. The Vikings have 4 picks in the mock. Panthers have 3. Vikings have an extra third rounder. So, I mean, that actually could help out. I would lean toward Vikings because they have an extra third to use. But, of course, they're your team. So, you would make the decision on that one.
You know what? Let's propose the trade to the Dolphins. Let's see, 4-11. Let's just go 18 and 82. Just see if that makes it interesting for them.
It says close. It's I mean, you're 17 points off.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, you could throw in an extra 6th if they say no.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just try a 6th, maybe a 5th or 6th. Just throw in there, maybe a future 6th or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like trading away futures, and the Vikings have an extra 5th. They actually have the Panthers 5th and the Jets 6th. I would trade the Vikings 6th over the Jets 6th, though.
Yeah,
that still says close. You didn't gain much on that one. You gained 5 points.
Yeah. All right, let's try a 5th, and if not, maybe we see the Dallas pick.
The Vikings pick 5th or the Panthers?
Let's go Minnesota. Still just close.
We gained 1 point.
Jeez. All right, hold on. Go back. Uh, Make it the Minnesota third of next year. So it's a
That's
first and 2/3.
likely accept. Wow, they've added that feature. It used
Yeah.
to say just accept.
Yeah.
So you're overpaying by 13 points.
I think that's fine. I think
But
2/3 to move
go
up
up
7
7.
spots in the
Yeah,
first.
it's a 50-50 proposition here, and we got the right 50%.
And I'm the Vikings. I'm going Caleb Downs over Jeremiah Love. I like the
Yeah.
running back depth in this draft. And if Caleb Downs is at 11, holy shit. Like, I'm taking him 100%. I love Jeremiah Love. He's the best running back in this draft. I just think there's so many running backs in this draft that I really like that the Vikings could go in the second or third round still. So I'm going Caleb Downs here.
Yeah, makes a ton of sense. Like I said, it's only my third need for Minnesota and the Panthers. Just because for the Vikings, I had corner times 2 and interior D line above it.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
the thing with corners, especially in a Brian Flores system, they don't matter too much to him. Like, he likes his veteran guys like Murphy out there. But safety is something his system needs. Harrison Smith was big. Josh Metellus was big. And I think Caleb Downs feels like a upgraded version of Josh Metellus in terms of just athleticism and the ability to just put him anywhere on the field.
Right. That's a big selling point. He can do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Can be single high, can put him down in the box, he can blitz. Yeah. And it's also, I think, key to get above Dallas without the trade up that I know I've heard now multiple people like Peter Schrager and Mel Kiper, I believe, both had the Cowboys trading up to get Sonny Styles. But with Downs here and not really much else defensively, I think the Cowboys would definitely take Downs at 12 if he's there.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I don't have safety as a need for Dallas, but it's value over needs. All right. Dallas is going to go Dylan Thieneman. See, there you go. Oh my gosh, they traded back up. Wow.
Wow, that is back to back. That would be a very.
I thought they were going to go McCoy too, because I had corner for Dallas actually in my needs. 20, 152 in a second next year. Yeah, I'll do it. Liva Vega Ione for the Ravens. Jeremiah Love goes to the Bucks. That's useless. Omar Cooper Jr. goes to the Jets. Monroe Freeling to the Lions. Spencer Fano goes to the Dolphins. All right. Well, the Colts want to send the house here.
What's that?
Nope. Saints.
Two seconds, thirds. That's a first, second, and
essentially a third and a fourth.
Yeah.
A second, third, and no. I don't like any of those trade offers. Unfortunately for Carolina, all the corners are gone. So corner was my number one need for Carolina. Just Mike Jackson's not terrible, but I would like to see an upgrade across from JC Horn. And also they need depth anyways. Robert Rochelle, Caleb Evans, who you know fondly from Minnesota days.
He wasn't good.
And they definitely need a backup nickel because I have never heard of Corey Thornton. I think I know who Michael Reed is, but I'm not totally sure. They also have Tyreek Funderburk at outside corner as well. So they need talent there for sure. Center is my number 2 need. Unfortunately for this draft, there aren't any centers except a guy that just got taken ahead of us. Spencer Fano can play all 5 positions. But yeah, I mean, starting Luke Fortner right now at center. I'm not sold on that. With his backup being Nick Samick. Safety, like I said, my third one. There's been a lot of talk about safeties in Carolina because they re-signed Nick Scott. He's okay. He's doable, but it's not great. They need someone to pair with Trayvon Merrick and Isaiah Simmons and Lathan Ransom. Then I have tackle. Tackle is a interesting one because of the Rasheed Walker signing. They also signed Stone Forsyth. They have Taylor Moton, who's been a stud at right, but of course Ike Ekwonu, who's coming off the torn patellar tendon in the playoff game. So who knows when he's going to be back? But I like the Walker signing, but that's only for a 1-year deal. So there's not really any future tackles on the roster currently. Linebacker, edge, and then wide receiver. So linebacker is more for depth wise. Of course, I love the Devin Lloyd signing. Trevin Wallace really came into his own in year 2 last year. Going into year 3, he's going to take an uptick, I think, playing beside Lloyd. Claudine Sherrillis has been, pretty good as a surprising backup. They just don't have much after that. So I would like them to get another linebacker edge. That's been a sticking point for them as well. They drafted Scorton and Uman Mielen. They got Jalen Phillips in free agency, Nick Hampton. They have Patrick Jones from the Vikings last year, or whatever it was, a couple years ago. Travis Gibson they signed. They have Thomas Incoom as well. I just want one more in the rotation to maybe get some competition. And then wide receiver, it's more about depth than it is anything. I like the top 3, McMillan, Leggett, and Coker. They signed John Mechie. They have David Moore, Jimmy Horn Jr., but get some competition for that 1 or 2 last spots there. All that being said, or no, is it Lomu or Fano that can play all 5? I am because I feel like I get the Utah guys confused a lot. Do you know on that, Jimmy?
I don't.
Yeah, I thought maybe they would say something on here.
I'm looking it up now just to see what else it says.
Okay, yeah, it says Caleb Lomu considered to move inside to guard or center, per Matt Miller. So actually, it works out. I was thinking with Fano gone that we were lucking out, and I was going to have to pivot because there aren't really any corners. Colton Hood actually wouldn't be terrible. And there are not any more safeties. Although, I will say, Emmanuel McNeil Warren's getting a lot of first-round love right now. But I think with Lomu there, being able to play all 5, I think it's easy. Just pick the top guy. I know some people have wanted to give Carolina Kenyon Sadiq if he's there. I don't. I still like JT Sanders. I don't.
Yeah, I feel like tight ends. It's more of a luxury pick. It's closer to wide receiver to me. It's just. I think, and I think I've said this since I joined the pod. If you don't know what to do, just build up the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
And Lomu does that for Carolina, a team that has a quarterback that you need to protect. And I think it makes complete sense here.
All right. Akeem Messidor for the Rams. Seahawks coming up for Keldrick Falk, 32, 64, 96. Eagles coming up for Hayden Proctor, 23 and 98. Kenyon Sadiq goes to the Chargers. Wow, that's weird. Caden McDonald for the Browns.
I like that.
Peter Woods for the Bears. Casey Concepcion to the Bills. Maxi Inachor for the 49ers. Zion Young to the Texans. CJ Allen for the Chiefs. Colton Hood goes to the Dolphins. That's a great pick.
Mhm.
Christian Miller for the Ravens. They came up 45-80, 115. Ty Simpson goes in the last pick. The Steelers get him in the fifth-year option, right above the Jets and the Cardinals.
I don't hate that because the Aaron Rodgers thing is still up in the air.
I'd rather them just go and draft someone next year.
Hmm.
Arch Manning.
Why not?
But the cool thing about that for the Steelers would be that they gained 2 additional picks on day 2, and they didn't have to spend anything to get Ty Simpson. Anthony Hill goes to the Jets. TJ Parker for the Cardinals. Chris Brazzell for the Titans. Blake Miller goes to the Raiders. That's a great pick. Giants get Avion Terrell. Texans go Denzel Boston. Brandon Cisse for the Browns. Jacob Rodriguez. Jags coming up 56-81 and 166, filling the Devin Lloyd spot. Manuel McNeil Warren goes to the Bengals. Gabe Jacas to the Saints. Chargers come up 55-86 to get Chase Besantis. Trading Stukes for the Jets. Chris Bell goes to the Patriots. D'Angelo Pons for the Bucks. Ted Hurst for the Colts. I like that one.
Fuck.
Chris Johnson for
That's the
the
guy I wanted.
Falcons. You should have told me
That's
to.
the guy I was going to say, oh, take.
Should have told me to pause it. Could have traded up.
I don't love trading up for one spot. But there's some other guys. I do like Abney, the second from Arizona State.
I'm not about trading.
Not a bad trade.
Move up 13 spots in the third round.
Yeah, but I don't want to lose a chance of getting Hunter or Abney because I genuinely do like both.
Yeah, I mean, corner's my number one, so I would go Abney.
Yeah, and after Abney, it kind of disappears. So I'd go Abney the second here. I wanted to go Chris Johnson. I've heard a lot of good things about him. Only thing about Abney is, I know he's just
small.
He is small. He's very skinny. I think Vikings have had a very tough time in their past drafting smaller corners that didn't work out. But I'd like the idea of someone
big hands though.
Good hands. A little bit small on the arm. That does worry me. But I do like that he plays man pretty well. This is a defense that does zone pretty often, but I would like someone that can decently go in man-to-man. And I think just his athleticism. I think
cool.
He's tiny for a corner, but everything else, like he's above average to elite. And I think that's just something you could work with. Like athleticism translates, and I do like Keith Abney here.
I mean, you look at crap, what's his face with San Fran, got drafted last year. Tiny little kid out of Western Kentucky. Why can I not think of his name right now?
Let me 2025 49ers draft picks. Upton Stout.
Right, there you go. Yeah.
Yep.
He's 5'8", bro. I mean, yeah, and he played outside last year a lot. So I don't think it matters anymore.
He played well for his rookie season, being pretty undersized. But yeah, I think Abney makes sense here. I trust the athleticism to translate. Like Brian Flores, although he doesn't love corners, loves athletes. I think Abney, even though he's physically undersized, you can translate that. You could do something with his athleticism in the Flores defense.
Yeah, so I never went through my my needs that I had for the Vikings. Kind of just said the first couple earlier, but yeah, I have corner times too. Like I said, I mean, kind of like you and a Caleb Evans. I have experience with James Pierre being on the Steelers. He's not that good.
Analytics love him, but the eye test doesn't.
Isaiah Rodgers, can he duplicate what he did last year? I have no clue. I had doubts last year, and he balled out somehow. Of course, Byron Murphy's the best corner you have,
Mm-hmm.
but he's the nickel.
Yeah, he's
There is
getting long
no,
in the tooth.
there's nothing behind that. I mean, Dwight McGlothern, I liked him as an undrafted guy out of Arkansas last year or 2 years ago, whatever it was. Um, I cannot tell you a single thing about Zemiah Vaughn. Never heard of that guy.
I
So,
can't tell you much either.
and the only other corner they have listed on our lads, anyways, is Khalif Hayalasi, and he's listed as the backup nickel.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah, they're gonna
um,
have to. I know
I mean,
Flores doesn't care for corners, but you have to get him.
okay, or no, that's cap casualties. Never mind. See, sometimes I forget to scroll down on our lads because teams have their futures
Mm-hmm.
players down at the bottom, but the Vikings do not list any futures players. They do have corners available though if they want to sign back guys. Fabian Moreau and Jeff Okuda are still out there.
Ugh, I could not care less for either of them. Maybe Moreau, but Okuda did not impress me. He did not translate.
My second need for the Vikings was interior D line. Um, yeah, I mean, my boy Tyrion Ingram Dawkins played okay, 5th rounder last year, going into year 2. Levi Drake Rodriguez has been a great gem for former GM Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, 7th rounder in 24, has played very well. Jalen Redmond, also great story coming up through the USFL, the UFL, and back to the NFL last year. Played very well and re-signed with the Vikings. My issue is behind that. There's really nothing. Taki Taimani, backup nose tackle. That's the best backup they have interior wise. So yeah, I definitely want someone there for the future, for one, because Jalen Redmond's not the youngest guy. I believe he's somewhere right around 30. Um, Safety was my third one. Yeah, Metellus is pretty good. Jay Ward is a 4th rounder from 23. Theo Jackson's been good as a backup. Tavir Thomas is okay, but more of a special teamer. Um, Definitely need someone to pair with Metellus in the starting lineup. Probably upgrade over Jay Ward as well. Interior O line. Okay. Blake Brendel. Eh.
He's serviceable. I was. He's
But
fine when you pair him next to a healthy Brian O'Neill or a healthy Christian Darrisaw. But if one of those guys is out, Brendel gets exposed.
yeah, starting center listed as on our lads.
Yeah.
Michael
They trust
Durgan.
Jurgens a lot. I know Kevin O'Connell likes him a lot. They want to give him more reps, but I wouldn't hate like a 6th or 7th round center just to play
Yeah.
it safe.
Going into year 3 here as a 7th rounder in 24 is Michael Jurgens. My issue is with the backup guards.
Mm-hmm.
They're listed as Henry Bird and Joe Huber. Also, Vershawn Lee. Can tell you, I have never heard of Bird. I have never heard of Lee. I have heard, I think, of Joe Huber.
Yeah. Huber stepped in pretty decently last year when guys got hurt. The other two, like, they're borderline practice squad fodder. I don't even remember them from preseason when they played a little bit last year.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing. They need an upgrade at your interior swing guy.
Yeah.
Wide
They need
receiver.
someone in case Brendel does end up sucking.
Yeah,
I definitely do believe in Jackson. I think he's showed a lot in his rookie season that gives me hope that he has long term.
Yeah, for sure. Wide receiver. I mean, is Ty Felton going to be the guy at wide receiver 3? Big year going into year 2, first year really starting. But there's really nothing backup wise. I think that's a big theme with the Vikings. Lack of depth, quality depth, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Miles Price pretty solid as a backup, but yeah, Dante Fleming, Jay Sean Jones, and Joaquin Davis. doesn't give you much confidence if Jordan Addison or Justin Jefferson go down. uh, and then the last one I had for Minnesota was tight end. It's just, Hawk's not getting any younger, right? Oliver, all right. I like Ben Urasek. He just hasn't really done much in the NFL versus college. Gavin Bartholomew is an interesting one, though.
Yeah,
I was shocked that they drafted him last year in the 6th round, but he's still there. So, and yeah, Bryson Nesbitt also similar to Ben Urasek, pretty good at North Carolina, but hasn't really done anything in the NFL.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I see what you mean.
All right, so you're going. We're going Keith Abney though. After all that, my that was just my needs that I had for them. Mm-hmm. Lions in between here. Malachi Lawrence. All right, Panthers. 4th rounder to go back 2 spots. 21 spots. We move up 4 rounds. That's intriguing.
Yeah, but you got 2 safeties on that board that I think you would like.
Yeah, but corner's my number 1 need. You just took the only corner that's available, Jimmy.
You're welcome.
But yeah, safety would be the next one here. I know some people like Keontae Scott. I like Julian Neal at Arkansas. Genesis Smith, AJ Halsey. All right. But I think I'm going to take the Steelers offer. 2 spots. There's a couple guys I'm okay with, and we pick up a 4th. Yeah. Like I said, in reality, I would probably take the Bengals offer. I know you're dropping 21 spots, but to move up 4 rounds in a draft that's supposed to be very much better next year, especially on the offensive side of the ball, a 2nd rounder from Cincinnati could be a top 50 pick. Mm-hmm. So we're going to accept the Steelers offer, though. 2 spots, 4th rounder. They come up for Emmanuel Pregnon. Will Lee goes to the Packers. Who wants to trade now? Raiders, that's too many spots for just a 4th rounder. Also, too many spots, Broncos, for whatever that is. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to stick here with Carolina. We got our center in round 1. I still would like to get a corner. Our next pick's not till 83. Again, I like Julian Neal, but I'll probably just go with the board here and go safety. So that means between Genesis Smith, AJ Halsey, Halsey 6'2" patin. I prefer Smith. We want to look at his 5 career interceptions for him. 10 for Halsey. That's wild. I thought Smith had the better numbers. Apparently, I was wrong. So that's right. He went to Houston. Okay. Yeah. So he had 8 interceptions over the last 2 years. So that kind of changes things. They're similar size. Halsey's a little bit shorter there, but and bigger in terms of weight. But yeah, I'll go with Halsey though. I value production. I know a lot of scouts and just draft nicks in general are a lot of projection, valuing traits over production. I prefer production because I know what I'm getting.
I agree. I mean, that's how Billy Beane did it with baseball. He's like, I don't care how you project the guy. I just care how he does on the field.
Will he get on base?
Exactly. Does he get on base? Like, by the way, I read Moneyball for the first time a couple weeks ago. Great book. Highly recommend.
Okay. Eagles. What's my birds doing? Joshua Josephs. Don't like it. Jeremy Bernard. Jeremy Bernard to the Dolphins. Antonio Williams for the Chiefs. Cassius Howe for the Bears. It's a great pick. Oscar Delp goes to the Niners. Potential George Kittle successor.
Ooh.
Mike Washington for the Texans. Jennings Dunker for the Bears. It's also a good pick. Skylar Bell to the Rams. Broncos going Genesis Smith. Josiah Trotter to the Patriots. Jimmy, I'm just pausing it because someone's slipping, and we have one of our teams with the interior defensive line need.
I think I don't think you mentioned that the Vikings need depth. Trading up and giving up assets twice takes away the opportunity for this team to add depth everywhere for a position that, as much as I do like Lee Hunter, as much as I do like adding D-line, like you said, the Vikings already have 3 interior D-lines that rotate in well. Levi Drake Rodriguez, Redmond. I just think it's trading up a lot for a guy that will probably be rotational and taking away the chance to add depth elsewhere. Because it's going to be a lot to move up. What is it? Almost 30 spots.
It's the second round, so it's lesser of a value. But
but that's still a big jump. That's gonna cost the Vikings a lot. We already moved 3 picks to move up in the first. I'm willing to wait and see kind of what happens at 97.
I can tell you the Steelers are probably going to take him at 64. But because they have an interior defensive line need as well. But the Vikings are left, even with that trade earlier, the Vikings are left with 8 total picks in this year's draft and 7 next year. So it's not terrible.
It's not terrible.
You can always trade back later on day 3. But all right, we'll stick.
I'm just going to stick.
Caleb Tiernan to the Steelers. Cardinals going to Jadarian Price. Titans. Keontae Scott. Raiders. Keelan Rutledge. Eagles are going to take him. Okay, Jacoby Lane. Texans going Lee Hunter. Sam Hecht for the Browns. Commanders going Julian Neal. R. Mason Thomas for the Bengals. Connor Lew for the Saints. Chiefs going to go Eli Stowers, Kelsey replacement. Zakee Wheatley for the Dolphins. Jalen Kilgore for the Steelers. Dennis Sutton for the Bucks. Broncos coming up for Grayson Halton, 108, 111, 170, dude. That's a guy I really like. You got to look into him, man, if you haven't already. Balled out of the Senior Bowl. Bryce Lance for the Falcons. Patriots going Caleb Banks. Emmett Johnson goes to the Chiefs. Demetrius Crownover for the Packers. All right, we're all with the Panthers here. Not doing that, Washington. Sorry. And it works out, right? Finally, we have corners on the board here. Davis and Igbinosun. Big, long corner, 6'2", 189. Yep, long. Very long. Great arm length. Smaller hands, but
we're not asking him to catch. We're asking him to block passes.
Yeah. Especially since he has 25 passes defense in his career, 52 games. I love that. I love the 52 games, man. That's awesome. Experience. That's what I care about. It's a similar thing for Malik Muhammad, a little shorter, 6 foot, 182. You look at, he also has very good arm length. Big hands. And played less games, but still similar production. 16 pass defense, 3 picks. I'm just gonna go with Igbinosun. I don't know if you have anything on him. Since
I
you're
like him a lot. I think
guy.
I watched him a lot at Ohio State. I think the only problem is he plays very emotionally. If things go bad, he really lets it affect his play. Not that you can't mature out of it, but especially not this year. He kind of mellowed out this year, but like during the championship run, he was kind of a bad player on a championship team, but he settled into his role this year, and I think he'd be a very good pick for a team looking for someone that can just knock passes out of the air.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, he's gonna get targeted a lot. With Horn on the other side, you're gonna get targeted as the CB2. So, but with his production, I don't think it should be an issue. And with playing at Ohio State, I mean, with the amount of receivers that come out of that school, I mean, he's playing against these guys in practice every day. So he's seasoned for sure. Caleb Proctor for the Dolphins. Jake Golday for the Steelers. I didn't realize the Packers came up for crown over 84 and 201. Justin Jolie for the Dolphins. Gosh, they're just Dolphins had 3 of the next 4 picks.
Damn.
Fa'alili Fa'omo. I can tell you, I have not heard of that guy in any mock drafts that I've done so far. That's a new one. Jude Bowery, Jags. Malik Muhammad goes to the Bears. Anthony Lucas for the Dolphins. What?
Our Dolphins pick.
Yeah. Kamari Ramsey to the Bills. Derek Moore for the Cowboys. Parker Brailsford to the Rams.
Another Dolphins pick.
Deontay Lawson for the Dolphins. Yeah, you want to look at theirs?
Jeez. Well, they took this rebuild very seriously.
Well, dude, that's the thing. So I did that mock right on Monday. They have, they did some trades in this one, but without doing any trades, they have 7 picks in the first 3 rounds right now. 2 firsts, I think 2, or maybe it's 6. I can't remember. But I think it's 2 firsts, 2. Yeah, no, it's 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and 3 thirds is what they have, I believe. Look at my draft book here. Or no, it's 2 1s, a 2, and 4 3s. Yeah. They are loaded. 7 picks in the top 94.
Damn.
But then they only have 4 picks on day 3.
That's fine.
A 4th, a 5th, and 2 7s. So they are going to be active, just like they are in this. Yeah. They picked 9 players in this mock, but they need it. I mean, they might be the worst roster in NFL right now. Yeah. Dominique Orange, the Jags coming up 100 and 164. Jonah Coleman goes to the Steelers.
I was about to ask, could we trade up? Because I wanted Jonah Coleman. I've done it twice. I'm actually pissed at myself that I didn't step up and be like, hey, I want to move up.
Well, what do we got here for the Vikings? We got Caleb Downs, Keith Abney. Very similar needs for both of our teams in this one. I have corner times 2. It doesn't look like there's Takario Davis, actually. Not bad. Hezekiah Massis. Interior D line, though. Daryl Jackson's a pretty good player. I watched him at the Senior Bowl. I had no clue who he was. He was a late ad, but he played extremely well there.
What about Zachariah Branch?
Yeah, that's not a bad pick. He's a double selection, really, because he adds to your return game, punt returner specifically. Because They have Miles Price listed as the punt
I,
and kick returner right now.
and Price had a really good season last year as a returner, so I don't think that is a priority if it comes to it.
I mean,
Um,
I would take Zachariah Branch returning punts all day over Miles
I mean,
Price.
I don't disagree, but I'm saying like the Vikings would be okay just saying like, oh, Price is going to be the guy next year, no matter who we draft. We're not looking for someone to replace him for a pick. Like,
Um,
I don't like that trade. So, man,
I
God
also
damn.
had interior O line, so you got Brian Parker there. Um, I know John likes him a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he's more of a center. I think this team really does believe in Jurgens. I don't care. I don't care for Max Clare. Good rhyme. Um, especially at this point. Elijah Surratt is pretty interesting. Yeah,
Mhm.
you just mentioned him. Katron
Yeah.
Allen as well. Kind of interesting. Yeah. I like Surratt a lot. I've seen him a lot in the Big Ten. I'm between Branch and Surratt here.
Different players, right?
Hmm.
Zachariah Branch, tiny,
Yeah.
tiny, tiny. 5'8", 177. He's gonna be your slot guy and your punt returner. Elijah Surratt, big, 6'2", 210. He's gonna be your outside. Um, which the
Show me
Vikings
hands.
the Vikings don't really need, right? You have two outside receivers in Addison and Jefferson already with Ty Felton in the slot. Is what the
Do
yeah.
you like hand size?
I
Hand size is good. Arm length is pretty bad.
mean, the wingspan's not terrible. I can't recall what the optimal is for wing, but of course, I mean, with a guy that's 5'8", you're gonna everything else is gonna be smaller, right?
Yeah.
So
And again, I don't put too much into this. I put a lot more into what he does professional, like on the field.
I mean,
Um,
you want to look at traits. I mean, yeah, he is one of the most explosive players. And actually go to testing, and you're looking at speed for days.
mhm.
That surprises me. 20 bench reps is just what it says, elite. For a guy that's 5'8", 177 to put that 225 up 20 times, that is insane.
Show me his stats.
So he is extremely strong. The stats aren't going to be great because Georgia last year, anyway, not great. You look at his USC stats specifically. You look at 2020. What was it, 4? Yeah, I mean there you're looking at 10.7 per, right?
Hmm.
Um, Georgia, it was still 10, and actually his Georgia stats aren't terrible. I should
It's
had
not
a lot
bad.
of catches because they did a lot of screens.
And
Um,
Kevin O'Connell loves screens to his
but that's the
detriment.
kind of guy he is. He's a home run hitter. He'll take those little flare screens and he'll house it because he has the breakaway speed, that 4.35. Um, it's just, will he be able to hold up? That's always a concern for the smaller body guys.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, Surratt.
Surratt
He's
looks more like one of those cerebral wide receivers
he did
that
not do any drills apparently.
mm. Stats. What does he look like on the field?
Monster.
Monster.
That's
My God.
that's because his JMU stats. Um, I mean, that's just JMU in 23.
Hmm.
Ball came to Indiana, balled. Yeah, I
A lot
mean,
of
the
touchdowns.
yards went down. The yards went down, but yeah, tutties.
That's tough. That's so tough. Now, I love the production of Surratt. I also like the production of Branch. And knowing he's a screen receiver, a guy with a lot of speed, kind of guy that you could give the ball in the backfield on like a jet sweep, and the Vikings like to run those kind of plays.
I mean, I prefer Surratt
Hmm.
over Branch, but with what the Vikings have, I would rather go Branch because he will be able to roll in that slot or at least give Ty Felton competition for the slot
Hmm.
and let Addison and Jefferson stay outside.
Yeah, I think Vikings need a gadget guy on the offense. And with how many draft, if this was a situation kind of like last year where the Vikings had like 4 or 5 picks, I would probably play it safe and go Surratt. I think with the fact that the Vikings have so many picks this year and next year, I'm going to take the risk on Branch here
Mm-hmm.
and kind of see how it plays out.
It is interesting though, probably because he's not getting first round hype, but I have not heard anyone talk about Branch in like the I don't think I've heard him compared to like Tavon Austin, which would be my comp probably for him just based off stature, production, and well, he had less production than Austin did at West Virginia, but uh, just the gadgety type of player that he is. Anyways, he's definitely a better route runner than Tavon Austin was for sure. All right, you going Branch though? Yep.
I'll go Branch.
All right, I would have went Daryl Jackson. Just saying. Bud Clark, Chargers. Takara Davis, the Steelers like that. Max Clare goes to the Patriots. All right, A minus for my Panthers. Yeah, I liked this draft a lot for them. Picked up a fourth rounder with the Steelers trade back 2 spots. They gave us a B for that trade. The I really like more so the first and the third round picks. Worked out very well that Igbinosin fell to us at 83. Lomu, the versatility to be able to play all five is excellent, and he's going to start in at center where he hasn't played, but can, as he showed at the combine. And Halsey, I mean, I didn't know a ton about Halsey. I actually, it's funny, I remember him more from his Houston days than I do from his year at LSU last year. I don't know. Maybe that was just me watching more ball then. But yeah, I like the Panthers draft a lot. Here's what you got for the Vikings A minus as well.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean the fact that we got Downs at 11 is insane. Um, and yeah, I mean the other two were picks that made sense at that value and didn't have to reach at all. And you know, we did trade away a third rounder next year, but like I said, the Vikings still have 7 picks next year.
Hmm.
Um, and they gave you a C plus on that one because he went minus 13 net value, which
Yeah. And here's the
sometimes
thing
I
about
do that
trading.
up.
And here's the thing about trading up, and it's obvious in any league from basketball to hockey to football. To trade up on paper, you have to lose the trade. You have to
Yeah,
give up more than you get. You just that is the cost of doing business when you're going to move up in the draft. You know,
especially in the
on the
first.
day the trade is made, people are going to say, "Wow, you overpaid to move up." And objectively, yeah, you will. But the whole point of trading up is you're going to get a player that overcomes the value you had to give up to get to him. And I think Caleb Downs is objectively like at Caleb Downs at 11 would be the biggest steal of the draft. If
Yeah.
whether Miami stays there or someone trades up to get him at 11, Caleb Downs at 11 would be the biggest steal of draft day.
Yeah, I mean, some people have Caleb Downs as their number 2 overall player.
I've seen mock drafts where he legitimately went first overall. Like he's that much of a defensive wild card. Like
Yeah.
he's just he's all over the place. Like I said, he's Josh Metellus if Josh Metellus was the greatest football player of all time. Like, it's just he's
Well,
he's insane.
uh, before we end here, you want to actually, speaking of first overall, I know it's Fernando Mendoza, right?
Hmm.
Um, a thought popped into my head when I saw the tweet from I think it was Ian Rappaport said teams are calling the Raiders about number one. And I know it's probably just smoke. However, in my head, when I saw that, I was like, dude, what if? What if the Raiders are fine with Kirk Cousins? They're okay with Kirk Cousins going for 26. That's cool. And based off how he played in Atlanta, I would not fault that at all because he did play a lot better every game he was back from his injury. And my thing is okay, the Jets are going to trade up one spot, and the Raiders are going to ask a ton. They're going to get 3 first-round picks for one spot. And I'm telling you that not because that's a fact, but that's what I would ask for.
Do you think this could end up being the Caleb Young 2.0 trade? Sorry to twist the knife on Carolina fans, because I mean, look at next year's draft. Let's say Arch Manning becomes that Caleb Williams like prospect. He plays super well at Texas. He becomes that guy. Suddenly, the Jets, maybe they get Mendoza, but he doesn't play as well. They end up being bad again. The first overall pick goes back to Las Vegas. Hey, now you're in spot to get Arch Manning. Plus, you have more draft assets. Plus, you have whoever you took at second overall. It could be, I don't know, Reese, Styles.
Plus, Kirk Cousins is signed for multiple years, so you wouldn't even have to start the guy that you'd draft.
Yeah. But it's a weird contract because it essentially is a 1-year deal with a lot of incentives and a lot of like mutual agreement kind of stuff. But still, I don't hate the idea. But I had this conversation, honestly, with my dad earlier today. When you have the first overall pick, you have to take the best quarterback of that draft because the odds of you getting back into the spot where you can take the best quarterback in any draft is very slim. And I like Mendoza a lot. I like the potential of Arch Manning more. But for the Raiders to make this trade with the Jets that we're hypothesizing, they have to both A, have the Jets stink really bad again, and B, Arch Manning become the prospect they think he is. And that's expecting a lot of things to happen when you're already in a position to get a Mendoza who he's not a Peyton Manning type prospect. He's not a Caleb Williams type prospect. He's probably closer to Caleb Young in Caleb's Young draft year than he is to like Caleb Williams was in his draft year. But still, I like Mendoza a lot. I think it'd be an unnecessary risk for the Raiders.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying that is the first thought that popped into my mind when I saw teams are calling the Raiders for one. I was like, just drop the S off because there's one team and it's the Jets. I mean, I guess the Cardinals could theoretically as well. But I don't know. Anyways, great mocks for both teams. A-. We did great, apparently, by the grading standards. But that's the show for today. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast, Instagram and X, FAA Podcast.com is our website. Check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. And we will see y'all back for Friday. Another mock. We're getting down to it. We have 3 more mock drafts left. Team mock drafts, I should say. Of course, next Wednesday will be the first and only complete 32-pick mock draft that we do every single year. Friday, though, Bucks Lions. I believe I will have at least 1, maybe 2 Lions fans on for that one. So we will see. Check us out then.